The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, on over 25 podcast platforms, including Apple, Amazon, and Audible. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful author, inspiring speaker, pharmaceutical executive, wife, mom, and grandma. She was previously with us on the Mike Wagner Show. She's very glad to return, talking about a sequel to her smash book. She's a founder and president of Hunter Street Charity, an active not-for-profit volunteer. But most importantly, she's also the author of Hopey, which is basically her debut book, From Commune to Corner Office, which was very compelling. We had her on the show. And now she's back talking about her latest book, which is called Counting Hope, From Conflict to Confidence. And basically we'll talk about the memoir, sequel, and more. And it's basically just a very interesting journey. And live, ladies and gentlemen, from the Plus Studio somewhere in the Great Midwest, ladies and gentlemen, author, speaker, pharmaceutical executive, grandma, and a terrific person. Ladies and gentlemen, she's back, Hope Mueller. Hope, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us once again.
Thank you so much, Mike, for having me.
And it's great to be back as well, too. We talked about the book Hopey, which is From Commune to Corner Office, which is very compelling, chronicles the story of a courageous girl in the 70s Southern Indiana commune. I'm sure John Mellencamp was not involved. Complete with flowers for dinner, ball of acid in the freezer. Oh, my gosh, I'm getting so hungry. And orgies in the living room floor. I think we'll have to reverse that. And then you also have a book which is called Counting Hope, which follows a sequel, which is your journey into adulthood, which you basically recreate the dark, chaotic world, which was attempting to escape. And you also have a charity, which is Hunter Street Press, and taking authors all the way through, and also the president of Hunter Street Charity. So you had a lot that branched out last we talked. And before we talk about that, once again, quickly tell us how I got started.
How I got started?
Very quickly,
how I
yes.
got started writing books, I was compelled.
Okay.
I think many artists feel it somewhere that you have to get it out, and you write it, either if it's written or some other media. I think sometimes as an artist, it's hard to know how to get started or why you get started. You just feel compelled and you must go do it.
Mm-hmm. And was it woman the Presley influencing to say, hey, I'm going to start writing this?
I had time, and just that first opening chapter of Hopey, it sort of bounced around in the back of my head for a few years, and I just started writing it down one day, and then every time I would sit down to write a chapter, I would just write it. I had no real idea what was coming. So writing the second book was wildly different because I had an outline, I had a plan. I moved stuff around purposefully, but with that first book, it was just I needed to write it. And I just felt compelled to, just get it out of my brain.
Mm-hmm. And would there be like a third book involving Hopey or Hope or anything? Would this be like a trilogy, or would you be writing into something else? It almost sounds like a trilogy you're writing.
No, I think we are. At least for now, we are done with this. I have 3 or 4 more writing projects that I have in various stages of completion. I did make a promise to my father on his deathbed that I would get his work completed. So I have some material on that. And then there's also a lot of effort that I would like to write a business book, how to for women and career development and empowering women, to learn and grow in their careers.
Wow, that is amazing. We'll talk later about that. And let's recap your first book, Hopey, as well, too. Chronicles the story of a courageous girl in the 70s, Southern Indiana commune. And we've already described that. And quickly, give us a recap about the book, Hopey, and what's it all about.
So the first book follows me from, my early years on a commune and ends when I take my entrance exams into college. There are little flash forwards, little glimpses of my life today, so that sort of how it all ended up. And then the second book leads you right into that. It picks up right where I left off, my adventures in college, and up until I'd say about 1/3, 2/3 into my career, with the same set of flash forward devices. So you see little glimpses of my life today. But the second book is a lot about my first marriage, and a lot of the pain and fear and abuse that was happening there, and all of the work it takes to get yourself out of one of those scenarios.
Mm-hmm. And also as well, too, there have been bouts of drug addiction, being in school as well, too, and trying to finish all your nursing assignments. You're trying to pack like 3 jobs. And then I think later on the way, you also had your first daughter as well, too. And what was that exactly like for you, trying to, balance so many hours of class? Was it 13 or 16 semester hours, 3 jobs, a child? And I guess my question is, how did you manage to pull it off? I can only do maybe about 8 hours, maybe 1 job, and I don't know what else. That's it for me.
Yeah, it was, it's interesting. And I've had that question asked a lot too of, how do you do it? And I think at some point you just are in the headspace of, I just have to get it done. And you take a look at what needs to get done that day or the next few days. And if it fits on your long-term plan and your long-term goals, you just go about executing. Maybe you sleep a little less. You certainly sacrifice sleep here and there. And once I had Ashley, my sophomore year in college, my focus on schoolwork became very different. It was, let's just take the test and get done and make sure we pass. It was a lot different once I had a daughter halfway through college, but just get in, get done, stay focused, and drive to the finish line.
Mm-hmm. And then we took all those nursing classes as well, too. Was there any point in your college career that you would have changed majors? And if so, what major would you have changed? Or did you have some plans, like, say, have a job lined up in nurse, like, say, you work at a hospital or hospice or nursing home or anything like that? Is like, were those in the plans, or is there a point that you have changed majors.
Yeah, so I actually started college planning to, go into medical school for after my undergrad degree. So I have a bachelor's of science in biology, and after I had Ashley, I thought I would go and do nursing. So I only did one semester of nursing. And the classes were actually, pretty great for my grade point average. But I had a moment of clarity and thought, oh, this is, I'm not sure. For whatever reason, the women in my cohort weren't the most friendly. And I thought, I can't work with these people the rest of my life. So I went back and I finished with my Bachelor of Science in Biology. So I absolutely considered going into nursing because I felt like you would have a more, real guarantee of a job when you finish your undergrad degree. And when I finished with my Bachelor of Science in Biology, it was a lot more wide open of where that could lead and what I could do.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, there was also parts in the book where you were looking for something to make some extra money to support Ashley, your husband, and also school and everything else. You also went to work for a couple of pharmaceutical companies, and tell us more about that and what influenced you into getting to that sector, and also that you kind of made a venture into meeting with the president or CEO of the company. I thought, oh my gosh, many of us are not willing to do that like you did. So.
Yeah, so no, my first job out of college was with a medical device firm, and I was there for a little bit, but I didn't make any money, right? I made $13,000 a year, so I had to keep my waitressing job, even though I had my degree. And then I moved in the pharmaceutical industry in a microbiology lab, and that was a great fit because it fit with my degree. And I was able to just learn a lot. And that's honestly where my career started in earnest. And I was able to really, make great strides in my career ladder. Eventually, right, in one of the flash forwards, I'm sitting down, getting an interview for my first vice president role. And you sit down, you have interview with the CEO, and he was super down to earth and really, really nice and made me comfortable. So it went well, and they offered me the job at the end of the interview, which had never happened to me either.
Wow, that is amazing. I mean, I'd probably faint first if I end up getting a vice president's job. And what inspired you to take on a VP job?
Well, I was definitely very focused, and I have been very focused on developing my career. When I was driven to get my degree with all of the challenges that I had been facing, then, graduate and move into a career. And at some point you realize, oh, this is a career. It's not a job. And I drive hard and want to move forward. And want to take increasing roles of responsibility. It's just, I want to get a lot of things done. I want to make a lot of impact. And that's how I moved through there. I was just driven to get things done and make an impact and help, make a difference for firms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you also make a great difference as well, too. We'll talk about some of the obstacles that you encountered but managed to overcome in Counting Hope. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play. Also on Amazon, Apple, and Audible, and other podcast platforms. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel, and follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author, speaker, pharmaceutical executive, and grandmother Hope Mueller here on The Mike Wagner Show, talking about Counting Hope, which is available on pre-sale through Amazon, which is also following the journey into adulthood, and also the beginning book Hopey as well too, about a story of a courageous girl in the 70s Southern Indiana commune. And Counting Hope, as we get into it, continues on as well too. And you encountered a lot of obstacles before you make your way into the pharmaceutical field. It's you went through drug addiction. You had some stories on that, abusive relationships, and you basically just look for ways to build a better life and your 2 daughters. And maybe you can just tell us about some of the tales maybe that got you into drug addiction, how you got out, and also, meeting up with your husband and, just end up being abusive, and how you got out of that. You encountered so many obstacles, but you managed to get through to make your way into the pharmaceutical vice president ranks.
Yeah. So I came to, my addiction story, pretty honestly. I think one thing that people forget is, no one plans to become an addict. They, I'm going to try something, I'm going to do this. And, you have this look back and you think, wait, this is not a good plan. What am I doing? And so, I was always around drugs as a child. It was, common in my family. And, I started smoking pot when I was as a teenager. I moved out when I was 15, and I was working full time at Kentucky Fried Chicken and, smoking a lot of pot. And, I was working, and then, once I finally got to school or college, I, was working full time. I had, 1 or 2 or 3 jobs, depending on the time frame. I was, fully loaded with classes, and I was, attempting to raise my daughter. And I was tired. And my husband, who we weren't married at the time, but, my boyfriend, he used coke. He used cocaine, and it was a great way to get a little bit of speed, get a little pep. And, one fateful night, he offered it to me, and he had offered it to me before, but I hadn't done it. And, I tried it once, and 3 months later, I realized I'm using every single day.
Wow.
And, a couple months, I guess it would be a couple months after that. So I, put a stop to it. So I first tried it in January. By March, I was using every day. And on May 24th, I quit. But, it's amazing how much damage you can do to your life in a short 5 months, in a lot of areas, especially when you're responsible for so many things. And most importantly, when you're responsible for a child's life. So it was important for me to quit. I had to make that decision. I did a lot of research and found a counselor, and had to be accountable to someone else. And that's, and I can look back at that day and know that, it was a meaningful day, and I'll remember it, I think it was May 24th, 1996. So it's been a bit.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you talked about your first husband as well, too. Then, what did he do? And how did he manage? Was there any support involved? And, his background and, family and everything. And how did that factor into obstacles? You pretty much gave a good account of it, and then finally just coming down to the end where it's just basically just say that's it. But it just took a long time, and it's just, just very difficult to do. And what's advice for people in abusive relationships? What is like the almost like best way to get out? Not necessarily painless, but best way to get out. What do you do?
Yeah, so it's funny when you say that, right? So, I could say 5 months of an addiction cycle, but certainly being in an abusive relationship was much harder clawback for me. And writing the book, and of course rereading it a billion times, I keep thinking, why was I there so long? There is no easy answers to, getting out of an abusive relationship, or a relationship where you really lose yourself and your own identity and your belief in who you are. I will say unequivocally, Mike, the reason why I was able to finally identify those things was because of the success I experienced at work.
Mm-hmm.
I had this big dichotomy. I would go to work. I was super smart. I was the go-to girl. Everybody wanted, my contribution and to work with me. And I would go home and I was fat and I was stupid and I was a slob and I was lazy and I was just not, having the same experience, right? Those were the things I was hearing at home, very different than what I was experiencing at work. And my success at work allowed me to build the foundational confidence and love for myself to realize that I had to get out. Some of the final straws related to, my children. And it was, and I had to also say, this isn't fair for my children to see, and they need a better set of circumstances. I thought, you get married and you have to stay married. You have to stay married until you die, right? It's just this commitment and integrity I felt about that, the contract, if you will, of marriage. And that led me to stay for a much longer time than was healthy for myself, and more importantly, healthy for my daughters. So take the time to give yourself some space to love yourself and to grow the confidence, and know if you are not being treated well, talk to people who know and love you. They are around you. I did not do that. It took forever for me to start talking to people like, your parents, your siblings, people who know and love you, want you to be successful and want you to be happy. And if a relationship isn't doing it for you, build your own confidence and love for yourself. And you can go anywhere from there, but that foundation has to be laid.
Mm-hmm. That is very helpful advice as well, too, Hope. And what are some of the small daily steps that you can take towards confidence? What are some of the examples?
Well, some of my examples were just the smallest ones. When you're with somebody, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we were together 11 years in total. When you're together for several years, it's just the tiniest little things that I started to do that helped me claw back my own identity. Number one, it was identifying any words or phrases or anything he said either to me or to my daughters that was harmful or belittling. And I just identified it. And I didn't have to make a comment every time, but I had to realize that so you learn to ignore it or you let it go, but I had to at least call it out in my mind. And then I would just do little things, right? I made the bed the way I wanted to make the bed. If I was going to be late, or if I wanted to make a, certain dinner, I would just do it the way I wanted to. Whereas before, I'd be so worried about him being upset and us getting into a fight, which did, might have happened, but my own things that I enjoyed or things that I wanted, just the littlest things, right? How you stack the dishes, or how you, make the bed, or where you park the car. These are little things that you start to adjust, and you can say, no, it's okay if I park the car here. It's okay if I make, this for dinner. So those are the first small steps that I started to take.
Mm-hmm. And what are the signs that you're in an abusive relationship, and what to do about it?
Well, the signs, you definitely should get a therapist to list off what are the signs. But if you find yourself, certainly, if there is any physical violence that's occurring at all, so it's funny when somehow we are trained to think, oh, you have to be hit, right? You have to be smacked or you have to be punched for it to be abuse. Well, you can be pushed down to the ground, you could be shaken, and you can just be screamed at right in your face, or things thrown at you or things broken, and that's abuse. And even today, even after everything I went through, that's sometimes hard for me to admit out loud that, being pushed to the ground or, something being thrown at you is abuse. So any of that, that is true abuse. You have to recognize that that's what's happening to you. And again, find help, get somebody in your church, your network, a therapist, identify that. And then there's this whole, what feels like a grayer area, but can be as detrimental or worse, of just mental abuse, right? Of somebody making you feel small, someone always challenging you, or you're never good enough. And if that is your reality in every single moment you are with that person, if you're afraid to go home, or you get depressed when you go home because you feel like you're gonna be stupid again, or after all day of being super smart, you go home and then you're stupid, or you're being told you're stupid, those are signs that the relationship is unhealthy and unhealthy for you.
Mm-hmm. And you also moved on as well too from your first marriage, and then you took some time, and then you you ventured into second as well too. And just tell us about the transition from getting out of that marriage into a better life, and give people some inspiration.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the greatest things is, I spent a long time being single, and being single is fantastic. And again, it comes down to laying that foundation of love and confidence in yourself, and enjoying who you are and understanding who you are, because then you can enter a second relationship or a next relationship in a really healthy space and be really honest with yourself and really honest with your potential partner about what your what your likes and dislikes are, and what your life, looks like, and what you want your life to be like. It's great. My husband and I have an incredible partnership. We approach it as a partnership, and it's just a lot of, being super honest, even during the dating period of, I like this, I don't like this, I can do this, and I won't do this. And if this is a deal breaker, right? Like at one point you're like, this has been great. And if it doesn't work out, we've had a great time. But I can tell you that I didn't even know it could be this good, right? I didn't even know it could be this good, that you could have real relationships with people, that it's a true partnership. We are in this life together, and we are 100% honest in everything we are doing together to improve our lives, to improve our children's lives, and to love and support each other. And it is unmatched in its greatness, and it's out there. You can do it. You can have it. Everyone can experience this. Even though you would have asked me 15, 20 years ago, it's possible, no way. I didn't think it was real. You see it on TV, or you hear about it, and you're like, yeah, none of that's real. I'm not saying there's, it's not perfect, or that it's just perfect and there aren't challenges and things that we've had some major things that we've had to work through as partners, but we're doing it together.
Mm-hmm. And maybe thinking of Meat Loaf song, where you talked about, I do anything for love, but I won't do that. It makes me think of it. So yeah.
It's true. It's totally true.
And of course, so you also venture into other things, not just your two books, but you also ventured to Hunter Street Press and Hunter Street Charity, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, along with Amazon, Audible, and Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. And follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with author, speaker, pharmaceutical exec, and grandma, and also the owner of and president of Hunter Street Charity and Hunter Street Press here on the Mike Wagner Show, Hope Mueller, and she's back to talk about Counting Hope as well, too. And first of all, before we go any further, where can we find Counting Hope and Hopey at?
So you can find them on my website at hopey.net. You can order them from there. Of course, you can order them from any of the major resellers, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. So you can get the book anywhere.
And also you have an offshoot called Hunter Street Press as well, too, which takes authors all the way through the publishing process. And tell us about Hunter Street Press and what inspired you to go ahead and start.
Well, I have to give lots of credit to my publishers and my marketing team. They published Hopey, and they held my hand and helped me create Hunter Street Press. So Counting Hope was published under my own label. The nice thing about that is you get higher profits. You don't have to share.
And make Jeff Bezos rich.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to share. Oh, you have to share with Amazon. Amazon still is in control. But you don't have to share with the publisher. So that's nice. And through the process of Hopey and reconnecting with a lot of the people from the commune and from the daycare, Hunter Street, so it's, Hunter Street, a lot of the fellow, children who were in there had talked about wanting to write their own book. And so we've talked a lot about that with different people. And honestly, just becoming an author, people ask you, how did you write a book? How did you publish it? And being able to create that space and help somebody else with that journey sounds really exciting. So anybody who is noodling on that, and if you just want to talk about it and talk what it's like and all of the things you learn, it's amazing how much you learn in a year and a half, then, I would welcome those conversations. So that's why we did press. Mm-hmm.
That sounds very good, too. And you also got some other works as well, too, and tell us all about that.
So Hunter Street Charity, Mike, you are not going to believe this. I just got the letter from the IRS today. So we are officially today a 501c3.
Congratulations!
Charity. I know. I almost cried. I was so excited. It's been a long journey getting the charity set up. But we do have... we are now officially a charity, so you can check that out on hunterstreet.org. And that charity our charity is set up for helping children and families during critical times of needs. First-time college students, something we'll consider, helping people with, rehab scenarios or other challenges. That's what we'll be focusing on. And
what are qualifications that you're required to be a candidate for Hunter Street Charity?
So the qualifications are first and foremost, some proof that you want to improve your life, right? So that you are, that you're working hard, that you're making all the effort. When I think about families, children and families during critical times, right, there's a lot of families who are on the edge of solvency, right? They're doing great, they're making improvements, and then their car breaks down. And for a family in need, that can be devastating. And all of a sudden you can't make it to work. So we want to help those people bridge and just give them that little lift in order to be able to help them to get to the other side and make all of their dreams come true. So, the website has the few characteristics that we're looking for. First, clearly is need. Secondly is, a commitment to hard work and improving your life, and a belief that you can do that.
Mm-hmm. Also, too, that I'm on the website right now that that the financial need to overcome recent catastrophe, death, house fire, also critical need, rent, utilities, and drug rehab, psychiatric services, family college-bound students, and everything else. And So do you need to like write a letter and explain in detail and then they review, or how does that exactly work as well too? Like say, yeah, you're right, my car broke down. So what do you do first? So
there on the website there is an application, and you just fill out the application.
Okay.
And then the board will review the application. We may send out questions, right? We may send out some questions to verify some things. And when you send out the application, it gives us the allowance to go and look up and verify some information. And then you'll find out. You'll find out if we can help out or not.
Okay, and how many people have applied so far?
Well, today is our first day at being a real charity. So no one's applied because, we haven't formally launched. We have been, letting people know that we're building it. We have the website, we have a Facebook page, we have a newsletter, and we are getting it out there. But so there are people there. We've actually been contacted by some folks who are interested in applying. But since we can't collect or distribute funds until today, so we haven't received any applications. But there's been some conversations and some folks who have been interested in understanding what it would take to get help.
And just to clarify, this is throughout the whole United States, right?
That's right.
It is, okay.
Yeah.
And any plans on going into other countries like Canada, Mexico, or overseas, like in the UK and Asia and Russia and other countries worldwide? Any plans for that?
So, you know what? We would entertain applications from anybody. We won't be collecting donations globally. That enters into a different tax status and creates some complexities. And honestly, we don't have a lot of plans right now for donations or fundraising. We have the board, contributed significantly. And so distributions, anybody around the globe could ask for help. But donations, we won't be taking those globally. It'll just be in United States donations.
Okay, sounds good. And also, and what's the website, and how can people help, or where to go?
Yeah, it's Hunter Street Charity, one word, .com.
That is fantastic. Once again, we're with author, speaker, pharmaceutical executive, and Grandma Hope Mueller here on the Mike Wagner Show. A very big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Look forward to having you on again soon. And what are your upcoming plans for 2021 and beyond for us?
Well, that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to getting out of 2020. I think most of us are. I am entering into a new space of my life where I'm not working for a firm. I am running my own consulting firm. And right now I'm fully loaded, very busy. And in 2021, deciding how many jobs I want to take on. How much is the charity taking? How much is the press taking? And how many consulting roles I want to take on. But that's what I'll be facing in 2021. And, probably further quarantine time and further, e-learning with the family. And managing the house definitely keeps me busy.
It sounds very exciting as well, too, Hope. And once again, who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
My husband, no doubt. Yeah, especially at this phase of my career. I mean, I talked about our partnership. It is great to have a partner at an equal where you can talk about work, you can talk about learning. I'm currently getting my master's at Northwestern Kellogg, and, somebody to sort of toss through and really discuss, meaty topics. He's certainly my biggest inspiration.
That is amazing what you do. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
No matter who you are, no matter where you've been or what you've done, You can be amazing. And not only you can be amazing, you are amazing. You're amazing today, and you can make your life look however you want it to look. Even if you made bad decisions today, you can make different decisions tomorrow, and you can achieve any goal you set out for yourself.
That's very inspirational. Once again, Hope Mueller, author, speaker, pharmaceutical executive, and grandma of her latest book, Counting Hope from Conflict to Confidence, also Hopey, on the Mike Wagner Show. A very big thank you for your time, Hope. You've been absolutely fantastic. Just great talking to you once again, and looking forward to having you again soon. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, what's your website, how do people contact you, and where can people check out your books, and also check out Hunter Street Press and your charity.
That's right. So you can find me on hopey.net, HOPEY.net. You can find my books there, and you can find the press, Hunter Street Press, there. Of course, you can get the books on any of the national sellers. And then for the charity, you can check us out on hunterstreetcharity.com, all one word. You can check out, who we are looking for as candidates and fill out an application, or just contact us.
That sounds very good. Once again, Hope Mueller, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Great to have you back on. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. Love you back on in 2021 and beyond. Keep in touch, and looking forward to what you got. You've been great.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. Have a great evening.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Sonic Web Studios specializes in custom web design, app development, social networking, search engine optimization, domain registration, email marketing, online stores, and more. Since our birth, we have been designing and developing immaculate websites and providing web solutions which are a cut above the rest. As a leading web designing enterprise, we have a team of extremely talented web designers who are well-focused and have the experience of working on multiple web developing platforms such as PHP, Magento, Custom WordPress, and more. Sonic Web Studios has been helping businesses of all kinds, whether big, small, established, or startup, impress their audiences with exemplary web solutions. We don't just create beautiful and functional websites. We give you a complete online solution with the main goal of enhancing your yearly revenues. We aim to give your business the online exposure and brand acknowledgement that will help you in achieving increased conversions leading to profitable sales. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.